I cannot believe I am doing this. Okay, enough of the personal drama. I can't tell you why I am so scared and nervous and excited, and I just have all of this like crazy nervous energy going on right now. I cannot tell you why, but here we are, and I'm going to be doing something that you haven't seen on this channel and something that you probably haven't seen ever. So just to give you a quick background, since this is something new, this idea came to me as I was watching a real pick a card tarot reading. And I was wondering, what is something that I can give to writers no matter what phase they're in? If they're far more experienced than I am, or if they're just starting out new, what is something fun that I can bring to this channel? Because I do talk about a lot of serious topics. I am on my soapbox frequently, and that isn't what I want it to be about. And so I came up with this idea, and from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely hope that you enjoy this, that you might get some value out of it, that it gets the wheels turning. I'm going to be reading the cards and asking you questions about your story. Now maybe you're going to quick fire answer, you're going to know this answer, you're going to know that answer, but what if I come across a card and you have to think about it? That's where this creativeness comes in at. Hopefully it's like a writing exercise without the writing. So let me explain briefly how this works. You've got deck 1 with the Amethyst, you've got deck 2 with the Citrine, you've got deck 3 with the green Flourite, and you've got deck 4 with the Dalmation Jasper. Focus on the 4 decks. Maybe one calls to you immediately. Maybe as you're looking, one catches your eye more than the others. That's the deck that you're going to watch. Now, there are 3 places to skip around in the video to get to your deck. The first place is on that timeline bar. You're going to have play, and then if you hover over, you're going to see chunks in that timeline, and it's going to be deck 1, deck 2, deck 3, deck 4. So you can scroll through that and find the deck that you're hoping to select. The second place is actually in the description. You're going to see that there's an intro. You're going to see each of these timestamps down there, and I will also pin a comment with the timestamps as well, so it's easier for you to find. So if you need more time to focus and really concentrate, I'm going to be quiet for a second. If you've already selected it, hit that timestamp so you can go straight to your deck. But if you want to meditate, if you want to really look at the cards, I'm going to pause for a second and let you have that time. Alright, so deck 1, this is what you've selected. So the first card here is going to be the Tower. Now what this card is telling me in regards to your specific story is make sure that whatever your character left behind in Act 1 is completely destroyed. When it comes to Act 2 and it gets rough, there needs to be a solid reason why that character can't go back home. So what was destroyed in Act 1? What is preventing your character in Act 2 to call it quits and to come back home? Alright, so the next card is the 3 of Wands. So what the 3 of Wands is telling me is that your midpoint needs to be epic. What is going on in your Act 2 that your character can confidently strategize? And they're doing this behind the scenes, behind the scenes, behind the scenes. The midpoint happens and all of their strategy comes to fruition. So I feel like this card is all about that midpoint twist, making sure your character is going into the midpoint confidently. All right, so the next card is the 5 of Cups. So with the 5 of Cups, what this is showing is that your character could be wallowing too much. So we all know that we have like a roller coaster ride as far as our characters are concerned. We know that we give them ups, we know we give them downs, And it's so important to really make sure that you focus on those down points. But make sure, and this specific card is like, make sure your character is not wallowing. They're not in self-pity. They're not being overly sarcastic and unlikable. Whatever has gotten them down, yes, it's gotten them down, but they're going to bounce back. How are you showing that they're going to do this bounce back? So the next card is the Three of Cups. So this card is all about other people helping you lift up. So what this is telling me is, how are your side characters lifting your main character up? What do they really bring to the story? Focus on that and say, okay, how can I give them a bigger role? What can they do to be more inspiring to the readers? How can they really make these situations better? They don't have to be the star of the show, but they really need to give a reason for the readers to connect to them. They're off on the side, so give them some pizzazz to make them really stand out. And you can really do this by having them help your main character in really unique and creative ways. So next is the King of Pentacles. This one's hard. I feel like it is talking about your mentor. So even if you have multiple mentors, there's going to be one that's older, maybe a mother or father figure, that is guiding the MC, which is your main character. All right, I think I got it. Imagine what would happen if this mentor character that is so trusted, that is so loved, what would happen if this character decided to betray your main character? So your main character has all of this faith, all of this trust into the mentor, but at the end of the day, if your MC gets in the way of his money, of his ambition, of his goals, he's going to cut him out. And when it comes to cards, it doesn't specify, it doesn't truly specify gender. So it could be someone with a more masculine energy, right? So it could be a female character that is a mentor that maybe runs her own business or has more masculine tendencies. And she could be the one cutting out the MC because the MC is not profitable or is getting in the way of money or something like that. So think on adding interest to this mentor character in the form of some kind of betrayal. And maybe not that he's this horrible person, but at the end of the day, we all have to feed our family. All right, so my next one is going to be the Four of Cups. So this specific person is meditating, they are aligning inward. So this is going to be talking about your internal character arc. What is your character doing on the inside to really align themselves with the person they need to become? Are they into a creative endeavor that is more religious, more spiritual? You know, are they into prayer? Are they into scripting, manifesting? What is it that they are specifically into? Ooh, so next is one of my favorite cards. This is the Seven of Cups. And so this is like the wish card. So what does your character really truly wish for that they're not getting? How can you show this disappointment? Why are you not giving it to them? Is that potentially something that you can build into the ending as like a little surprise? What is it truly that your character desires? Is what I'm getting from this. All right, so our last card on this is called Earth School. Life lessons, soul growth, study, and higher learning. So we all know that characters grow and they all develop over time. I feel like specifically your character could really grow and develop spiritually, and that can help them with the lessons that they need to learn. And now remember, spirituality is not just a specific religion. It can be a feeling, it can be inward. There's so much to it. And I feel like that it could be really beneficial to have them do that in a very spiritual way. Alright, and I got some like little additional teaser cards. This specifically is for November, and this is specifically for you. Now, keep in mind, I am not psychic. I do not have the talent that so many tarot readers have. I'm just going to be reading the cards, and the question I was asking as I was shuffling this deck was, what does deck number 1 need to know going into November 2020 when it comes to their creative endeavors? So let's look at what we got. We got the Two of Pentacles. We have the Hierophant. Ooh, I like this one. And we have something called the Star Family. So what the Two of Pentacles is telling me is that you are juggling multiple responsibilities. Maybe you increased your goals. Whatever the case may be, is you are constantly doing this balancing act, and you need to be very cognizant of how much pressure you're putting on yourself. It also is giving me the feeling that you need to manage your time and your energy in order to prevent burnout. So remember to relax a little bit, to not go so hard on yourself, to not go so hard on your goals. That's what I'm getting here. So the next one is the Hierophant. I have a feeling this is saying that before you show off your work, before you show off your writing or your art or whatever you're accomplishing, make sure that you go to a mentor, make sure you go to a guide before you put it out there to the world. It also gives me the feeling that you have a process. You are very process oriented. You have a process and that you stick with it. And this card is telling you that yes, your process works. My tummy just growled. I don't know if you can hear that, but I apologize. So this is saying that your process works. Don't change anything. You might be rushing something. You might feel like you don't have enough time to put the energy or to do the process like you normally would, but it's saying trust that process. You're going to do it. It's going to work for you. Don't try to cut corners. You have a process. It works. Stick to it. And then the last one is Star Family. You're a part of a team of souls. Call in support. So yes, you're juggling so many priorities, so many responsibilities. You have this work that you're wanting to share, but you can't put in the time to go through your normal process. But it's okay because you have other people that are here to support you. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I need help. Can you help me? There's nothing wrong with that. And I get a feeling that because this is a Star Family, that they don't mind giving you that help. They actually probably enjoy being able to be a service to you or to be able to help you. So keep that in mind. Now, I've been waiting all day for Amazon to get my 2 new decks that I got specifically for y'all. I'm going to shuffle this quickly. What message does deck number 1 need? What message does deck number 1 need? Please let me know what message deck number 1 needs. There it is. Okay, so this is the first card I've ever read from this deck. It is the Ever Unfolding Rose. Oh, it's so beautiful. It says cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. In a way, it seems like you're completely blooming into this experience, and the message is that this is something for you. This isn't just something that you stumbled upon. This isn't some issue that just happened to you. This is a part of your growth. This is what's going to help you bloom. It is happening for you, and it's happening for a good reason. All right, my second deck that I got, just for y'all. So this deck is called The Universe Has Your Back. All right. does deck number 1 need to know? Do we got a message for deck number 1? Do we got a message for the writers for deck number 1? I feel it. It's that one. Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, so let me show you the card just so you can see how pretty it is. I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. Oh, so this is wonderful. So what I see here is you have a lot going on. You're juggling way too much. You're putting too much stress on yourself. You have a process. It's a great process. Don't cut corners. You have a family. You have a support system. You have people who are so willing to help you and be a part of this process that if you need help, all you have to do is ask. And know that this is a part of what's going to make you bloom. It is happening for you, not to you. So remember this message as you continue throughout November. All right, deck number 1, that is everything I have for you for November 2020. If this is something you enjoyed, let me know. Let me know specifically what you enjoyed. If these cards sparked a certain idea, let me know in the comments below, even if it's just a vague little idea. You don't have to go into detail. But if you have questions, let me know. If you have a question about a specific card or a specific meaning, feel free to ask. I want to be in this creative process with you. I want to be a service to you, so please don't be afraid. Reach out, ask for help. Thank you so much for my very first pick a card reading. Please, if you got value from this video, hit this like button. If you want to see more videos like so, also hit that like button. Let me know. Thank you so much. Have a good day, y'all. All right, so deck number 2. If you chose the Citrine, this deck is for you. This is your reading. Now again, this first part of it, I've got 9 cards here, and these are just mainly questions for your story. So let's dig into it. All right, so this first one is the Chariot. Nice. So what this card is telling me is, what is your character rushing into? What is your character going towards? Something has happened. Love. Something to do with love that has caused your character to be more driven, to be excited, to be ambitious. They are now on fire. They have a goal and they are going after it faster and more determined than ever before. So questions that I would ask about your specific story is, what is happening to make your character go after something? Do they have a relationship that is really their driving force in getting something accomplished? If so, how are you going to change the pace of your story to show this like fiery, go-getting attitude? How are you going to raise the stakes to make your character go faster after their goal? Okay, so next is the 7 of Wands. And what this is telling me is that there is a character, or your story could benefit from a character coming in and being envious of what your main character has. They may have obstacles that they put in their way because they're jealous and they want something your MC has, and they're gonna do some pretty shady stuff to get it. So what is it that this character is longing for? And they could be a good guy, they could be a bad guy. However the story ends, initially they start off being jealous, being envious, and being an obstacle for your main character because of their jealousy, because of their envy. Next is, ooh, the Moonchild. So this card is not a part of the original tarot deck, but it's talking about the dark side of life. It's talking about the things that people don't like to talk about. So it's talking about the failures. It's talking about heartbreak. It's talking about the things that hurt your character's soul. It is the dark side to life. So the question I have for you in regards to this is, what are those scenes when your character is on an emotional low? Are you getting the emotion from those scenes that you should be getting? Is your reader going to feel what your character is going through? Make sure you look at those scenes and really develop that feeling that both your character feels and the feeling you want your readers to also feel. Okay, so next is the Hanged Man. So usually when this is depicted and pictured, it's somebody upside down and they have this golden halo around their head. In this case, this person's upside down and she's got the moon around her head. And what that symbolizes is, if you're familiar with the beats, there's a specific beat that's called the Dark Night of the Soul, and it's kind of where your character is at the lowest of the low. It's towards the end of Act 2, and it's right before your character has that like great finale. Now in this, your character's life has been turned upside down. They are completely changed. There is nothing the same. And things are not going as they dreamed. They're not going as they imagined. And then your character has this like aha moment, this spark, this idea that is going to give them hope, that is going to give them faith to move forward into Act 3. So my question here is, do you really show the internal working of your main character processing what they need to process? Is your character arc, is your theme, and your main outside sources, are they all colliding during this dark night of soul so your character can truly transform to be the person that they need to be successful in Act 3? That's what I'm getting here. Alright, so next is the High Priestess. Oh my gosh, this is like my favorite card. I think it's the most beautiful card in the deck. I absolutely love it. So the High Priest is about uncovering things that are hidden. And even if you don't have a mystery book, there's probably some kind of mystery in your novel, whether it's learning something new, or whether it's being in a new world, or if it's being in a different culture. Whatever it is, your character is exploring. And so my main question here would be, how are you exciting your readers to really uncover these mysteries? Are you giving them that little bread trail that's going to get them excited to see what happens next, to see how this world evolves, or to see how this specific mystery thing, whatever it is, how it evolves? Are you giving them that excitement? Are you giving them the utmost joy from that? If not, think about what can you sprinkle in, what can you foreshadow to kind of give your characters clues to the mysteries of your world. It doesn't have to be one huge plot, it just has to be a few cool things, right? Okay, so next, is the sun. So it's interesting because you have the sun and the moon. And what this is telling me is you need to really focus on the emotions of your scene. So we do everything in roller coasters, right? So your character has highs, your character has lows. And what these cards are saying is really go back to those scenes and make sure when they're having a low that you're really portraying that this is a low. And when they're having a high, really portray that, hey, this is something that is exciting and fun and wonderful for your character to experience. And make sure you're getting those emotions across in your writing. Ooh, the Ace of Cups. Another absolutely beautiful card in my opinion. So this card is about compassion. How is your character being compassionate? And it doesn't even have to just be your main character. It could be your side characters. It could even be your villain, right? So the whole reason the book Save the Cat Writes a Novel is called Save the Cat is because you can take anyone unlikable, have them save a cat, and all of a sudden they become a little more likable. They're showing compassion, they're showing something. So this is going, okay, look at your characters that aren't likable, whether it's a villain or a side character, even your main character who might just be a little rough around the edges. What moments are they really at their worst? And after those moments, what moment can you have where they show compassion, where they show humanity, where they're a part of a community and they're doing something for the better? How can you either bring in that really bad situation and balance it with a really good situation, or vice versa? What if you have this really amazing breakthrough, this really good compassionate moment, and then all of a sudden they sink back into their old ways and they have this horrible moment? That's a super interesting concept to kind of think about and to explore that duality there. Next, we have the King of Swords. Ooh. I have like so many ideas coming in with this. So the first idea is, what character do you have, side character most likely, maybe main character, who is like shy, definitely not a leader? How are they going to step up in your novel and grow? How are they going to take control of a situation and say, if no one else is going to lead, by God, I am? And they do a really amazing job. So despite maybe they have these introverted qualities, or maybe they have qualities that are just meek and shy and they don't like being in front of people, they don't like the spotlight, or maybe they're just really insecure. At the end of the day, they end up being a great leader even though they have those qualities, because the two can exist. In my opinion, some of the best managers I've ever had have been introverts, have been shy, have been the underdogs, because they tend to be just a little more empathetic for whatever reason. So that's one thing this is, I feel like, is talking about. Another idea that this card is giving me is, in my opinion, not only a king, but especially the King of Swords, is someone who will cut out people who are not beneficial in their life. So who cuts out your main character? And not in some evil way, not with evil intentions, but at the end of the day, your main character isn't serving this person. Or your main character is doing one thing and the King of Swords is like, hey, look, I've got other people to worry about. I don't need to worry about you as well. You're an adult, go take care of your stuff. Or maybe he says, hey, this is good and this is dandy and all of that, but at the end of the day, our roads are splitting. I'm doing this. This is what's best for me. Over there is what's best for you. You do whatever, but I can't afford to worry about you. So you just go and let me cut you off from my life. It's kind of another feeling that I'm getting from this. Another idea is like the King of Swords is also like a very disinterested person. So does your character need something from someone who's very disinterested? So, you know, maybe he might need resources, maybe he needs people, maybe he needs warriors, maybe he needs money, whatever it is, your character needs something, but he can't get this person on his side. This person is disinterested in your main character in some way, in some shape, in some form. Okay? The last and kind of like the card that ties everything together is going to be the Golden Children, the inner child, tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. This is such a pretty card. Okay, so how this I feel like relates to the rest of it is, for example, the inner child. How does your character go back to who your character is inside from the beginning in order to solve their problem, in order to get that aha moment? They have to reconnect with something from their past to really develop into the person they need to be for the future. You know, what gifts do they have? Are they just an incredibly determined individual who is going to get everything? You know, are they incredibly compassionate, and for this they are rewarded in some like universal way? Are they able to see the truth no matter who is lying? What mysteries are there? You know, innocence, this Seven of Wands here, maybe this person who is envious of your character, maybe they're sitting there and they're like, oh man, I didn't mean for this to be as bad as it ended up being. I was just jealous. So I did silly things, but I didn't really intend to hurt you. I didn't really intend to hurt the character. All right, so moving on. So this top part here is specifically for you as a writer, November 2020, what I feel like November 2020 has in store for you personally. So we got the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is like this very motherly, feminine energy, creativity, and trusting your instinct, following your heart. So you have a creative endeavor, you're going to be successful in it, but instead of maybe following this rigorous program or whatever the case may be, you need to get more in tune with just your gut feeling. Go for it, follow your heart. Next is the King of Cups. Interesting. So the King of Cups is about holding onto your emotions. So you might have a situation that is going to spark anger in you, that's going to spark frustration. You're going to want to react, right? But the King of Cups is saying, don't do that. You know, at the end of the day, respond in a tender way, respond in a motherly way. Instead of being angry, listen to your heart and be compassionate towards man. So with the two of them together, I also feel like this could be like a relationship, and that you're going to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So the King of Cups is about execution, reigning over your emotions, keeping them in control, and then you'll be able to execute perfectly. And this is talking about following your heart and your creative endeavors. So make sure whatever you're doing here, so this could be a, husband-wife, where you have to rely on your spouse, where you have to rely on your partner, so you can execute, so you can have that creative freedom. Maybe you need help. If you don't have a partner, or you're younger, let's say, this could be going to your mother and listening to what your mother says. This could be going to your father and asking him to handle a very emotional situation, and because he's able to rein into his emotions and really have control over that, he's going to have a better outcome because he isn't upset and he isn't fiery or angry and going to mess it up because of those emotions. But I definitely feel like this is a partnership and needing to rely on one another to accomplish what you want to accomplish this month. So next is Lost Lands. This is your soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. Oh, what a beautiful message. So maybe you are very experienced and you have done whatever this creative endeavor is. If you're writing a book, whatever the case may be, you've done it before. And if you haven't done it before, what this card is telling you, in my personal opinion, in my personal beliefs, is it's telling you that in a past life you've done this before. That's why you're drawn to it in this life. And so lots of water here, and that is all about your creative expression. And so I feel like you're going to have a really great month in any creative endeavor that you take on. Next, the Great Severing. Whew. So this is about your Mars energy. This is about anger. This is about conflict. This is about softening to love. So again, maybe you need to sever something that is negative in your life. Maybe this is something that isn't going to be working for you. You need to cut it off, and you need to do it in an unemotional way. You need to do it with love. You need to do it with passion. You need to follow your heart. You've got so much beautiful over here. And so if you've got something that's preventing you from this, you need to cut it off. Next is Leap. You go first. The universe will catch you. Oh, okay, so this is about trusting. You've done this before. Trust yourself. It's a part of it. It's okay. It's good. If you leap, the universe is going to catch you. So if you sever it, don't worry, you're still going to be able to have this creative, beautiful life that you have right here. You just have to trust. And lastly, the more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. It's a little hummingbird. It's so beautiful and sweet. So again, you have energy, you have intention. It's telling you to bring that into your faith. Be fearless, make the leap, free yourself. And this is what you have, is this beautiful, creative, wonderful life. You've done this before. Trust yourself, trust the universe, trust God, whatever you want to call it. Trust a little bit more than what you normally do and go for it. You have goals, you have everything you need to make this a success, so do it. All right, so group number 2, this was your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. This is something brand new. So if you did enjoy it, please hit that like button so I know that you would like more, like so. In the comments below, if one of these cards or one of these situations really got your mind going, please let me know. You don't have to tell me everything, or if you do want to bounce ideas back and forth, ask me a question, let me know, and let's talk about this. This is a place that I really want where people to connect with one another, to be kind, to be encouraging, and to really get cool ideas out there, right? We are such a creative community. All we need is a way to connect with one another. And I think this is a really fun way to do that. And also, if this top reading resonated with you, I am not a psychic. I am not someone that I, swear by. I've actually never done readings for anyone until this specific video. So if this is something that really resonated with you, please let me know. Help me build that confidence up. And if you feel like the cards resonated with you but my message didn't, also feel free to let me know. Hey, I feel like this is what the cards meant, and I do relate to that, just so I can expand my knowledge base, because I am in this learning phase. So thank you again, and I really, really hope that you enjoyed this. Bye! Alright, so if you picked deck number 3, the green Flourite, this is going to be about your story. So this first section here, first I want to point out that this was like the most active cards. I just had cards like flipping out. So you've got like way more cards than other people do. So just remember, this first deck is pretty much just talking about your story, asking questions, take what resonates, and let's go ahead and jump in. So this first card is going to be the 3 of Pentacles. So this card reminds me all about teamwork. So how do you have a team of people? How are they diverse? How are they different? How do their strengths really add to this team feel where they're going to accomplish anything they need because they have such a well-rounded group of people? Is there someone a part of this team that really doesn't give as much as the others do? And what can you change about that to make them more dynamic? So I think of like Longbottom from Harry Potter. The ending was just really fantastic with him. And for the most part, he was nothing all that special the whole time, but he really turned out to be something great. So think about that. Think about your strengths, the weaknesses, and how each of your cast really brings their best. Next is the 9 of Cups. So this card absolutely screams like happy ending. What is your ending like? Is your ending a happy ending? And if so, what can you add to this ending that's like a little bit extra, that gets people a little more exciting? Maybe you foreshadowed something in the beginning and it's like, oh, there's the cherry on top. So this is really talking about that happy ending and giving that little bit extra to make it as happy as possible in a really unexpected way. It's like whenever you ask for something and you get something like way crazier in return and you're just like, ah! Right? So this is talking about giving that experience to your readers. They may be able to predict like, oh, this is going to be a happy ending. This is a romance. So A and B are going to fall in love and live happily ever after. But then you give them an extra surprise, That's amazing and fun. Next is the Fool. So this is going to be talking about, a character who really is like ahead of their feet almost. Like they are just adventuring and they are having so much fun and they are living in this amazing world. And I don't know if I showed the camera. Let me show the camera. And they're not really aware of what dangers lie ahead of them because they're just so busy looking and being excited and just go, 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 that they haven't really considered, you know, hey, I'm about to walk off this cliff, or hey, I'm about to get myself in a whole lot of trouble. They're just on this adventure, happy to be there and totally unprepared for everything that's going to be coming their way. Next is strength. The cool thing about the strength card is it's not your like stereotypical strength where you've got this big muscly person being super strong. It's about the different types of strengths in the world. Endurance. What horrors does your character go through that they have to endure? You know, compassion. How does your character need to be compassionate? And oopsie, my battery died. So this is not your stereotypical strength that you think of. You know, what compassionate moment can your character have that is going to make them stronger? Think about the things that make people strong without money or muscles or weapons. What makes them strong? Does your characters have those qualities within them? Do they need those qualities? Next is going to be temperance. So I feel like this is more about your writing style than something within your story. So it's like, what techniques are you blending together to make something new, to make something no one's seen before? Are you mixing your genres together and making something like just super exciting and super new? This card talks about taking two very different things, combining them into something no one else has seen before. So maybe this is asking you, what can you do? What other thing can you bring into your writing, into your story, in order to make it fresh, make it seem like something no one has ever read or ever come across before? It's pretty cool. So next is going to be the Knight of Swords. I don't know why, but I always feel like there are so many different ideas that come to me with swords cards. In this specific one, you know, what character, maybe a side character, who usually isn't assertive, how are they going to be assertive? How are they going to take everyone by surprise by being assertive? The swords is also about your mind. So also, you know, what challenges does your MC solve with their intellect? And are you really showing how it's an intellectual feat instead of just like dumb luck? You know how people tend to think, oh, there's not much to that, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, it takes a very smart, strategic person to pull something like that off. Are you sure that you're sitting there and giving your MC the credit and showing that intellectual planning, that strategy? Another thing is like the knight isn't as put together as like the king, right? So what if they react to something before they really think about what they're doing? How is that going to cause trouble for them? What kind of consequences are there if they are just reacting and they're doing things before they can really think about them? Next is the Ten of Swords, another sword. This card is about like fears and doubts, negativity, depression. Something that I think about when I think about this card is, how does your antagonist feed into your MC's flaw? So if they struggle with depression, how does that antagonist maybe like get into their mind and feed into that? You know, if they're scared of something, how does the antagonist bring that fear into life? Next is the Ten of Cups. And so this card is about success. It is about having the support you need when you need it. You know, how does your characters help and develop one another? How are your characters supporting one another to uplift them, support them? Next is, and so when I was shuffling, a lot of these came out, and these are oracle cards and not tarot cards. And so this one is wait. It's not yet time. Things are being woven. So what this is telling me, especially with this Knight of Swords here, is that your character is either or could benefit from being a strategist, to really sow the seeds early, and then come Act 3, they're all woven together and they all come in together. You know, I'm thinking, when I think about this, I think about Sarah J. Maas, who is just really good at building epic endings. If you've never read any of her books, it's just highly recommended just to see how she really strategizes throughout the entire book to make this ending this huge epic moment. The next one is Activated Earth. Power places ley lines, trust where you are led. So this card makes me think of the more mystical things in life. You know, is your team going on different paths? Are they trusting where they're going? Or are they too scared to step foot? Or do they have full confidence in where they're going, but they're not looking out with what's in front of them? Next is perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. So this really reminds me of these like godlike characters that show up here and there, and how they have this perspective of being like way up there, and nothing on an individual human level really matters. And so what that's telling me is like, how can your character develop from a perspective like that, from a bird's eye view angle, where they're not worried about the individual, but they're worried about everything as a whole? How is that going to change their goals, what they want, just by that shift in their perspective? And lastly, we have your life is a canvas, art, manifest, creative accountability. So that makes me wonder if there's this underlying art to what you do. Now, yes, you're most likely a writer if you're watching this, so you have that kind of artistic background. That's not what I'm saying, but like the undercurrent of your book, whether it has songs, ballads, poems, maybe one of your characters is an artist and you give them this really amazing perspective of like a photographer or something like that. How can your artistic passions in your life translate into your story to give it depth? Okay, so on to this top part here. So this is actually what you as a writer need to know about November 2020. So this first one is 9 of Swords. So I see here that something isn't serving you. You're going to need to cut that out. You've got a creative block here, and you need to get rid of that in the very beginning of November. Like, this is the first card. This is like the very beginning. Focus on why you have a creative block and cut it out. It's not good for you. Remove it. Next is the 7 of Pentacles. So this card talks about rewarding yourself and being proud. What are your long-term goals? It feels like you're going to be accomplishing those, and to remember to reward yourself for such an accomplishment. You know, this is about planting seeds, and every day you go and you water them and then they blossom into this big beautiful plant. So it's like reaping what you sow, and I feel like that in November you're going to really begin to see the fruits of your labor. You're going to reap what you sow. You're going to have this positive realization that all of this work, everything that you've done is for this moment, and you're going to be rewarded for it. Next is big picture thinking. Visionary, inspired ideas. Yeah, this is a good month for you. So once you cut out what you need, you're going to be like on fire. You're going to have your inspired ideas. You're going to be a visionary. And this is going to help you get all of the benefits from all of the hard work. Like, you might have a block right now. You might have had a block for a little while. As soon as you go after that block, you solve it. You're going to be rewarded, and you're going to get back into that super inspired feel where you're a visionary again and you've got idea after idea after idea, and that's a beautiful place to be, especially as like a creator, right? So I got 2 new decks today. They just came in. I opened them with group 1. Let me give myself some shuffling space. So what does group 2 need to know? Oh, got it. The Age of Life. You've been training for this for lifetimes. This creativeness, this message that you want to share in particular, this is something that you've been training for lifetimes. I believe in reincarnation. I believe in your soul coming to earth many times. You know, take what resonates to you. By all means, I'm not trying to make this a preaching session. But what it's saying is you have this know-how. You've built the foundation to do everything that you're wanting to create, every message you're wanting to tell. This is something that you've been doing for your life. And I feel like if you don't exactly know what that is right now, you're going to start figuring it out starting this month. And you're really going to come into realization that this is something natural to you, and there's a reason why it's natural to you. All right, my last new deck. I love it. It's like I'm getting to play with toys. It's like Christmas time. Here we go. In any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. So I feel like this directly ties to this blockage that you're seeing in the 9 of Swords here. This darkness that you're seeing. Whatever it is that you're experiencing here, you can conquer this through love, through prayer. You know, be still. Maybe you need to meditate. Maybe you just need to take extra time to pray. But this right here, this blockage, you need to do something about it. And don't underestimate your personal beliefs. Whether that is the belief in God, whether that's the belief in the universe, whether it's the belief in yourself. Take time to connect with yourself, with your beliefs, and you're going to free yourself from this blockage. That's what I'm saying. So that is everything I have for you guys today, group number 3. Thank you so much for doing this. If this is something you enjoyed, please let me know in the comments below. If any of these like situations or any of these cards really got your mind going, if it got your creativity going, if it helped you figure out something, if it gave you like an aha moment, please let me know below. I would love to talk about it. If you have more questions, you know how interactive I am. I am absolutely happy to answer anything that you have. If you just want to like go back and forth about an idea and, you know, have me draw another card, let's talk about it. Let's do it. And, you know, I am not psychic. I am not a tarot reader. This is my first time ever tarot reading for other people. And so if this resonated with you, please let me know. If it didn't resonate with you, also let me know. Let me know, hey, you know, the cards resonated with me, but maybe your message didn't, and this is why. This is what I feel like, you know, the 7 of Pentacles mean, or the Age of Light means, whatever the case may be. Go through and just let me know those things, because this is a learning experience for me, and I am having so much fun doing this. I want to keep doing this, and I can't keep doing it if I don't become better. So feel free to give me that feedback. With that, thank you. If you want more videos like so, hit that like button. And hey, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. All right, so deck number 4, the people that chose the Dalmation Jasper. This reading is for you. So this first set here that I'm going to be going over is pretty much just talking about your story. It's asking questions. So if something resonates with you, awesome. It's just kind of like a little exercise. So let's get into it and see what we have. Ooh, the first one is the Nine of Pentacles. So what this makes me think about is towards the end, right before, you know, the big finale, your character sometimes, usually, travels home. And when they get back home, they realize that something is missing from home. They feel like it's changed, that it's different. And usually, nothing is really that different when they get back. It's the character that's changed. So what I feel like is this is representing that journey back home. And even though nothing has changed that much, your character feels like it is a totally different place because of their experiences, because of how they've developed. So if your character doesn't have that journey back home, would they benefit from going back home and reflecting and seeing how different it is? Would that benefit and deepen your story? Or if they do go back home, are you really showing how different it is? And not different from what has actually changed, but different in the eyes of your specific character. How your character views things now isn't the same. Maybe they notice people that they didn't notice before. You know, maybe they're royalty and they didn't notice the servants before, but now after coming back, they realize all of the hard work their servants do. Something like that. Next is the Star. So this card represents your character overcoming darkness, maybe a dark place or dark emotions that they've been going through, and really turning into this star, this really transformed character person. So this makes me think about your character arc. Is your character arc fully developed? Are you showing their dark side versus their transformed side? Are you showing these differences here? Is your character really learning what they need to learn in order to successfully face Act 3 in an engaging and exciting way for the readers? Is the change really real and apparent? You know, what flaws come back and maybe tempt your character into sinking back into this other way? Next is the Nine of Wands. Another beautiful card here. So I feel like this is talking about your hero being centered no matter like how much the odds are against him or her. So no matter what they're facing, are they going to be persistent? Are they going to really going to stand tall, stand firm, even in this like face of the odds are totally against them? That's a confidence that comes from within. You know, does your character have that confidence? How do they show they have that confidence? What do you put them through to show that they have learned this and they can withstand it? Right? So next is the Lovers. This is like one of the first romantic cards I've gotten. So what this makes me think of, obviously, is love. So what is it about your story where the love really transcends the typical love? How are your characters truly soulmates? Are you showing this? You know, what is your definition of a soulmate? How do their philosophies change about life by just being with each other? How do they bring out the best in themselves? And I just really want to hit on that point again. What makes them different from everyone else? You know, especially if you have a romance book, you know, we see so many romance books and we all know how they're going to end. But what really changes our hearts as readers when it comes to romance is seeing a love that we've really truly believe is eternal. Oh, so next is the Wheel of Fortune. How does your character learn how to trust and relinquish control? This is about the things that are out of our hands, and these are the cycles of life, right? So we have all of this technology in the world, and we can't change the weather. We can't make it rain more in San Diego. So that's something that just can't be controlled, no matter how heroic or wonderful we are. So what are the things in your story that your hero has no control over, and they end up seeing like they can't control it, and they just have to have faith? How does that faith make them stronger? Next is the Six of Swords. So the feeling I get from this is like, if your character stays in their original mindset or in their original world, it's going to be more than just like inconvenient or limiting. It's going to kill your character. They're going to really just wilt instead of like, you know, blossom where you grow or whatever the thing is. They will, if they got stuck in Act 1, if they got stuck in that, if they got stuck in Act 1, if they got stuck in the ordinary world, what is it that they really feel like, oh man, this is tough for me, you know? You know, are you making it obvious that your Act 1, your ordinary world, isn't for your character, that your character truly has to leave to develop whatever it is they need in order to have the final opposition? Really look at your ordinary world and see if it's as suffocating and as limiting as you need it to be. Make it a place where your character, they absolutely can't go back when things get hard in Act 2, right? So that's what that's telling me. The next one is the Queen of Swords. So this makes me think of the queen in your story. How can the queen be, and it doesn't have to be technically a queen, just someone who's like very tough, very strong, very resilient. A female with masculine energy, I would say. So think about how she's going to react whenever a lie is exposed. So instead of someone like a high priestess who can see the truth for what it is and can see a lie right here, maybe she's very fooled by a lie in your story, and when that lie comes out, she is just super offended. Additionally, you know, what walls does she erect to make sure she doesn't seem vulnerable? What negative things does she cut out in her life because they're not serving her? Next is the Emperor. So what the Emperor makes me think of is the perfect leader. I'll tell you, in a lot of stories, especially YA stories, one of my biggest pet peeves is we have all of these rebellions, but nobody cares about the pieces that have to be picked up and put together. It's like, hey, I'm going to help rebel, but I'm going to trust the goodness in everyone to make it not like the old system. I'm checking out. Peace. I absolutely can't stand that. If something is worth fighting for, it never stops being worth fighting for, whether it's on a physical battlefield or whether it's on a democratic floor, whatever the case may be. It's not, you never see this character believing in another system. And so it's crazy to think that they will just like, whatever, I've done my fighting. It's time to make sure that, you know, other people pay the price. I can't stand it. It wasn't bad the first few times, but like it's like it never ended. It's like no one else realized that you have these martyrs that are willing to risk their life, but they're not willing to be a servant to do the right thing and to continue to guide the system in the right way. And so when I think of this, I think about that specific situation. You know, not just the rebel, but also the leader. the person that's going to put in the time, the person that's going to do everything right for the people, a servant of the people, someone everyone can look up to. That's what I feel like this card is about. So whenever you're looking at your main character or the leaders in your story, are they true, strong leaders? How can you make them stronger leaders? Yes, they should have flaws, but the flaws shouldn't be that they give up on the thing that they've been fighting for. That's a bad story. A true leader is never going to peace out, disconnect, hey, this ain't my problem anymore. That's not what a leader really is. And so challenge yourself to think about, hey, what leadership qualities are my leaders, is my MC missing? All right, last card revolving around this part is that you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. Oh, beautiful. So this is a great card. And, you know, maybe the theme of your story is that everyone is unique, and it's through that uniqueness that we find strength. Maybe it's not a theme of your story, but maybe a character really believes in this and you show it. You know, I believe this is a lesson we all can learn. I believe that society in general stuffs us into this little conforming box, and for most of us, we never break out of it. We just keep doing the grind, keep doing the 9 to 5, keep doing things because that's what we have to do to survive. But this is saying, hey, break out of the box, be weird, and it's okay. You know, how can your story be better with this idea, with this theme? Okay, last but not least is this top row, and this top row is actually what you as a writer may encounter in November 2020. So before we start, I will just do a disclaimer. I've never read for anyone else ever in my life before, so this is new. Take what resonates. If it doesn't resonate, let me know in the comments below. If you feel like the cards resonate with you but my message doesn't, feel free to say something. I'm totally open to criticism. I'm totally open to learning. And this is something that I want to keep doing for you guys. I hope you're enjoying it. And so I can't grow and develop if I don't get honest and truthful feedback, right? So let's see where the cards take us. All right, this first one is the Two of Wands. This is, in my opinion, one of my favorite cards in the deck. So what this is talking about is that you have this spark, that you have this idea, this piece of inspiration that you have. And now it's like, what do you do next? You need to set mini goals. You need to really create an action plan. How are you going to be moving forward with this idea? This is something that is great and wonderful. It is your personal creation. How are you going to bring life to it? Don't forget your greatness. Make these goals, set these goals, and then maintain the faith that you need in order to achieve these goals. So next is the Ten of Pentacles. So you know how like people believe that tarot readers just tell you what you want to hear and all of that good jazz. This is going to be one of those moments. I've not had this for any of the other decks, so please believe that this is sincere. This is what came out. This is not something that I pieced together. But the Ten of Pentacles is saying that this idea that you're having, this is going to be very successful. This is going to be lucrative. This is a great idea. You need to follow through with it. You need to keep making the plans. You don't need to give up, because at the end of the day, this is going to bring in some coin. This is going to bring in abundance. This is good. All right, and you had quite a few cards pop out with the Oracle deck. And so this first one is I remember soul plan, the fated life versus destiny life. So what this is talking about is what you're fated for, what your destiny is, revolves around what you're doing here. Whatever the spark of inspiration, you know, maybe you have a day job, you're doing your 9 to 5, but you don't have any passion, you don't have any love for it. And whatever this inspiration is right here, this is your project, this is what you're destined for. The next card is Weight of the World. Boundaries, let go. It's not yours to carry. So what I see with this card is that you're going to do this, but you're going to need to let things go. So whether it's the emotions of others or things that just drag you down, something that doesn't give you any benefit, you know, watching TV, being on social media, things that don't give back to you whenever you put time and effort into it, that's not yours to carry. That's not yours to put time into. This dream, this idea, this inspiration, this spark that you have, you're fated to do this. So don't let other things distract you from getting this done. Lastly is the Well and Orca Elders. Share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. Oh, this is really beautiful, guys. So what this is like your idea, your spark, the thing that's going to eventually make you some money, the thing that you feel destined for, the thing that you need to let things go in order to really maintain these plans and ideas. You're the only one that can tell this story. And to make it as impactful as it can, you need to dive deep into yourself. Figure out all of the themes that you need for the story. Figure out everything that you want to tell people in the world today. Even if it's a sci-fi, even if it's a fantasy and it doesn't technically relate, you can make it relate. You can get that same message out. And in fact, I bet you can do it in a more impactful way. So dive deep, share your song, share your story, and I feel like you're going to have a lot of success here. All right, so I got 2 new decks. I just broke them out for deck 1, and they came in a little bit late. So I didn't get to like pre-select them. So you get to watch me shuffle and see how I do what I do. Oops. These are like bigger than playing cards, so they're a little harder to shuffle for me. All right, so what does deck 4 need to know? Do we have, oh, there it is. All right, so, and these cards are like completely new for me, so it's exciting for me to get to see. So this is about Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, and having a divine plan. Yeah, I feel like this idea is more than just like an idea that you have just because you want to play around with something. I think it's something that's very serious. I think it's embedded within yourself. I think it's fate. I think it's destiny. I think it's a part of a divine plan. I think you need to lay a foundation, get your goals, really create a good action plan. You might lose steam. Maybe this is a huge project here, a huge undertaking. So make sure you lay that foundation right. You know, seeding the light, you're going to get what you put into this, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Yeah, great message. Okay, so I got 1 more new deck that I will shuffle. I'll do the same thing. What does deck number 4 need to know? One final message for deck number 4. What do they need to know? I get one final message for deck 4. One final message for deck 4. Ooh, maybe you get 2 messages. Alright, so the first message says, when I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. And the next one says, I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. This is the second time I've gotten this card today. That's awesome. So I absolutely love this message of I am love and miracles are natural. So remember, so I feel like you are really coming into your divine purpose. You are really telling the message that you are meant to tell. Miracles are going to happen to make this work. And you are love, and you need to have self-love. You need to have that self-belief in order to make this happen. It's going to be a big project, whatever it is, but it's going to be a very rewarding one. It is something that you are destined for. It is something that only you can tell. The next one, when I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. I feel like you're going to have to let go of quite a bit and surrender what you would normally pour into other people, time you would normally spend with other people. And you're going to have to surrender a lot of it, and you're going to have to invest that time in yourself. You're going to have to invest that time into this project. You're going to have to surrender. You're going to have to surrender and believe in yourself and believe that this is something that you're destined for. You're going to have to surrender to this idea. You're going to have to... There's so much to this. And it's going to require a lot of focus, a lot of energy, and you're going to have to let things go in order to get this off the ground. That's what I'm seeing here. So this is everything, group number 4. Thank you so much for taking the time and spending this with me. Please let me know in the comments below anything you want to share. You know, let me know if any of this got the wheels turning. If you were like, hey man, this one thing is going to be great for my book, or hey, I have questions about XYZ. Maybe I can pull another card and help you in specific, right? You know, let me know if this up here resonated with you. Is this something that you're feeling? Is this something that you connected to? Or, you know, do you know tarot and you connected to the cards but not so much to my message? Let me know these things. You know, I'm completely open to growth. In order to better serve you guys, I've got to have criticism. I've got to have feedback. So please let me know everything that you think. And if you have questions, just put them down there. I am totally receptive to responding and being a part of this process. And so thank you for taking the time and being with me. I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. If you want to see more videos like this, please give this video a big thumbs up. Let me know that this is something you're into. Thank you.